Enemies to lovers is like my jam, and making it gay is like even more my jam. We are going to discuss the next 5 books that I read. So this is recent reads number, what is this, like number 10 at this point? I don't even know. But I'm gonna leave a playlist in the description, and I'll have like all my thumbnails, should have like a little bit of a preview to the books mentioned in the video, so you can check out the videos that you'd like. And let's just get into it. These are the next 5 books that I have read so far this year. We're getting to like more actual recent reads. So I just finished this one like about a week ago, so it's pretty fresh on my mind. And that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I saw Peyton Reed's hyping up a good amount on her channel. And I haven't really like explored like if me and her have similar tastes that much, but this book I gave 5 stars. Absolutely 5 stars. It's about a girl who wants to do this project where this man is like accused. He was accused of murdering his girlfriend. I think it was his girlfriend. And he kills himself. That's all at the very beginning of the book, and that's what you know. And this girl is like, I want to investigate the case. I want to look deeper into it. I don't think that he killed her, because people all assume that he killed her because he killed himself, and it was because he was guilty. So the book, I gave it 5 fucking stars. It was so good. It's going to be part of a series. I think it's going to be a trilogy. And it kind of gave me Truly Devious vibes, but I think it's better than Truly Devious personally, because the end is an actual conclusive ending. Like there's an actual answer to the mystery. And Truly Devious does not. Okay, Truly Devious, which is right there. Truly Devious does not have a satisfying conclusion, but I still enjoyed Truly Devious a lot, especially like the atmospheric. We're not here to talk about Truly Devious. We're talking about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This was a book, actually, as I was like posting updates about this book, I feel like I got so many people like commenting, or like this was like my most liked review, so I didn't realize how popular this was, but it's so good. The physical book I've like seen at the bookstore has like a lot of like mixed media stuff in it, but the audiobook has like they're talking in the book, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna record our conversation, and then it sounds like you're actually listening to them on a tape recorder, and there's multiple narrators. It's so good, man. It was such a good book. And I mean, I can't really say anything without like spoiling the whole book, but it was very satisfying. There was so many plot twists, and I really liked the just the way it's written too, and how like Sal's the guy who killed himself at the beginning, and people all think that he's guilty of the murder. Seeing his whole family and everybody like that knew him, and like the way, like the impact he left on the world was so good. It was written so well in a way that like I didn't like cry at this book or anything, but I definitely really liked it. And I really, really liked like that aspect of it. I remember really enjoying that, thinking like, wow, this is so interesting to see like all these people's opinions of this person that knew him, and like how he lived his life, and like all kinds of stuff. And also I would argue like Truly Devious has some pretty stepping over the line issues, and I wondered if A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was going to do that, where she was going to like have to go places that she shouldn't really go in order to solve the mystery. And I'm happy to say I don't think she really crossed any boundaries. I think Pippa, that's an interesting name, but Pippa was a really good protagonist, and I think that she went about a lot of stuff in the right way, for sure. Except kind of towards the end was a little like, girl, what are you doing? You need to have somebody there with you. Definitely recommend it, for sure. Definitely recommend the audiobook, absolutely, and the physical book. I didn't read the physical book, but I know it has mixed media in it. Also, like it has like little journal entries and all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna probably wait until it all comes out on paperback, and then I'm probably gonna binge the whole series. All right, the next book that I finished was The Yellow Wallpaper by, who was this by? Charlotte Perkins Gilman. So this is only like 16 pages. It was like 33 pages on the library app that I read it on, and I read it so fast because it's so short. And the like creepy atmospheric vibes that you get in this book are really, really good. I hate to like spoil it because it's so short, but I just feel, so I gave this 3 stars because I really, really thought like it was pretty thrilling actually to read it, or it was very like you're really in her head, and she's like in this room, just like it's very important. The book is important historically because at this time that this was written, women are just put into rooms and just like, you know, you'll just figure it out eventually kind of thing. And she's like staring at this wallpaper and she's just like starting to like see things and rip it off the wall. And it was, oh man, it was really good. That part of it was really good. But I just can't give a book more than 3 stars. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I do, if you are okay with knowing something about the ending, then I guess I will put a spoiler warning on the screen somewhere. I'll just put it somewhere, somehow, up on the screen. But the ending of this was so open-ended. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, there was no answers inside of the book itself. But knowing historically the significance of the book, I think adds to your experience of it. And the historicalness of it is that like this book changed the way medicine is handled and psychology is handled. So like it's very important literature for its time. And it was interesting to read, but 3 stars. Now we're gonna talk about Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This book is amazing. I cried like 3 times at this book. It's about Chanel Miller, who was raped at Stanford by some guy. And just this book, I cannot believe that she took the time and energy and effort to put this to paper and share her story with the whole world. This is a very, very, very strong woman. Like, she goes into detail about her entire case and the way it was handled and what Stanford could have done differently and how we should hold them accountable, how we should handle rape victims. Like, just, I have absolutely no critiques for anything in this book. Obviously, this is a non-fiction memoir about rape. So it is the most, like, it could be very triggering for some people, but I think that it could be very cathartic also, because you're like reading about this woman just like taking a terrible situation and really overcoming so much and just shining a light on something so horrific and something just, I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. Like, it was so sad but so hopeful at the same time. And it just is a book everybody, like, it should be required reading for straight men. Absolutely. Like, just, it really opened my eyes to just how some women just constantly have to deal with like being hit on. Like, it just sounded so exhausting. It was so exhausting to even just have to like hear about it or listen to it. And she narrates this like herself. So not only did she write it herself, she narrated herself and like tells you her story herself. Like, and she like discusses everything as like part of the system and the issues with the system. And she doesn't call out anybody individually. Like, she really is like the bigger person, like in this whole scenario, in this whole situation. Like, she just like, this is someone that a lot of young girls like should look up to. Like, I look up to her. I absolutely look up to Chanel Miller. She is a role model. And you should definitely read this book. Like, it's so important. And especially if you're a straight man, you need to read this book. If you are a straight man, you need to read this book. Like, we need to force this. We need to like hand this out at like college football games or something. Like, this needs to be read by every straight man in America. That's all I have to say about it. I mean, she's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. All right, the next one that I read is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. And listen, Rainbow Rowell it's a whole topic, okay? I know. But I bought this and I bought Fangirl before I knew all that. So I wanted to read them and just like find out my own personal opinions on the individual books before I decided to unhaul whatever. I did read Fangirl earlier. So you can check the playlist to see like which video I discussed that in. But Carry On was a 3-star read for me personally. I thought this was unbelievably like reliant on the clear ripoff that it's from. Like, if you were to just know absolutely nothing about that highly popular 7-book series that came out, if you were to know absolutely nothing about it and pick this up, you could not get invested in these characters. Like, you just would be like, who's that? Why would he care about that? Why is he acting like that? But because we know this is such a clear ripoff, like, I see why people got invested in these characters and they appreciated this romance. And people do say that, like, by the time you get to the end of this, like, it's not as, like, it kind of becomes its own thing. And, like, I don't really agree that this ever becomes its own thing, because the parallels are just so ridiculously insane. Like, it's just so similar to what it's a ripoff from. I mean, I know a lot of people really like this book. I just also didn't find, like, I was so excited for this too. Like, I was so excited because enemies to lovers is like my jam, and making it gay is like even more my jam. And I was a big fan of that series when I was growing up. So I was like, okay, this is probably really going to be a hit for me. But it just isn't good. Like, it just isn't. I didn't really. I mean, if you don't know what this is about Simon Snow, who's the worst chosen one ever. And he is like in his 6th or 7th year of school, or 8th year of school. I guess it's supposed to be like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so, like, what even is the, like, he comes to, but I do love this cover, and I do love this map of Watford, this school that, like, is full of wizards and mages and, like, all this different stuff. I really appreciated Baz's perspective. I thought it was really interesting. I loved hearing him talk about how he was torturing Simon, but he was actually in love with Simon, but he didn't want Simon to know that he was in love with him. And I did like the ending towards, like, their relationship and their dynamics a lot, and how he was like, you should be able to call me Simon. Like, why can't you just call me Simon? Why do you always call me Snow? Like, but other than, like, their romance, like, what was the point of this? This is, like, more of a 2-star read, actually. I'm sorry. I know this is popular and a lot of people really appreciated it for what it was, but I also just want to point out that I feel as though all of the reviews for this book that are 5 stars are by girls. And that's fine, like what you like and all that. And I don't have a problem with girls reading this story and enjoying it. I have no issue with that. But I just noticed that most of the reviews by men that I'm friends with that I know are also gay or bisexual usually gave this 3 stars or less. So I think that it's a story written for fangirls, and it's not really written for gay men, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. That's totally fine. But I thought I still had potential to really like it because, but I did actually like Fangirl. I talked about it in a previous video. I did like Fangirl. I gave Fangirl 4 stars. I thought it was a bit more, I think it was just a better story. And I think it was a bit more, like, I can appreciate relating to that character a bit more. And this was just so blatantly ripped off of that series. I'm really sad. This might be one of my biggest disappointments of the year, for sure. Like, I really love this cover though, and I want to, like, it just wasn't what I wanted, it's not what I wanted. It wasn't something I could give. I wish it was shorter. I kind of wish it was more of, like, a contemporary setting, and that it was just not set at that school, or it had been set at, like, a normal boarding school. That's kind of just, like, what I wish had happened, because there was really nothing super interesting about the magic. There was nothing really super interesting about the villains, I don't think. Like, it was very 3 stars, like maybe even 2 stars. So that's sad, but let's move on. All right, now let's talk about, we're gonna end this on a very positive note. I read Heartstopper Volume 4. Now, I have read 1, 2, and 3, but I don't think I've discussed it in a video at all. But Volume 1, I gave it 2 stars. But that was me just being stupid. That's really, like, a 4-star book. But I gave it 2 stars because I hated the end of Heartstopper Volume 1 so much. Like, I just hated it so much. Like, because it ends in a way that's, like, just something we've seen so many times before in these, like, gay stories. I don't know, man. I'm not going to get into Volume 1 and my dislike for it, because it doesn't matter, because Heartstopper Volume 2 was 4 stars, and Volume 3 was 5 stars, and Volume 4 was, like, 6 out of 5 stars. Like, I sobbed. I cried so much. And I really, 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 really appreciate what Alice Oseman is doing a lot. In fact, I think what she put in that volume and what she had to say is a message that is being, I'm hoping, like marketed to this teenage audience about your mental health and about how you can get in a relationship and how it's important to know that just because you're in that relationship, they shouldn't be your everything, and that you should still have your friends and your other. It was so beautiful, and they're so cute, and she's not shying away from these realistic elements to life, and I just really, 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 really appreciate what Alice Oseman is doing a lot, and I think that the message behind her book, her graphic novel, and it's at Barnes & Noble, like the actual Heartstopper comics are at Barnes & Noble, and that's amazing, and I'm so excited to see that, and I'm so, so, so happy with like her success. Like, I'm so happy. I need to read all of her books. I need to read Radio Silence for sure. I definitely will be reading Radio Silence, so you can definitely stay tuned. I will be reading that hopefully this year for sure, because wow, Alice Oseman is one to watch for sure. So we're gonna end it on that one. If you haven't, also I'm gonna leave the link to Heartstopper. It's completely free online. Also, this amazing story with amazing art by an amazing talented person. The whole thing, it's all completely free, so you have no reason to spend your money on it, and you can just, when you finish this video, you can just click on that and read it. But I do want to like show you guys the art style, kind of. It's very just cute. Like, it's just very cute. You've got, you know, your boy with his dog kind of situation. Oh man. So highly, highly recommend. You should read it for free online. Like, don't even finish the video. Just go watch it right now. Just go read it. And it's just, you know, it's really easy. If you're on a computer or an iPad, then you should definitely read it, because I know it'll be super easy to get through. I mean, even if you're on your phone, you can get through it. I've only read the first book, or the first volume physically, and then I read everything else on top as it's come out, because it's free, and it's just also characters that I have grown to really, really care about a lot. So, like, you know, when you care about characters, like people that are like talking about how they love character-driven stories, I'm starting to understand you a lot, because, oh man. Okay. All right, that's where we're going to end this one. So definitely, I don't care. Don't subscribe to me. Don't follow me on Goodreads. Don't do anything. Just read Heartstopper. Just read Heartstopper. It will stop your heart. I guess that's why she named it that. Don't even worry about me. Just go read Heartstopper. Bye.